This MX5 has been off the road for a week. And the reason why is actually stupid. So about a week ago, we put this MX5 in for what was meant to be a mock MOT. Unfortunately, they didn't do this as a mock one and they done it as a real one, which ultimately put the car off the road as it failed miserably. Mainly because it doesn't have a cap on the exhaust, so it failed because of emissions and because the handbrake wasn't operable because a brake caliper was seized. So let's get this fixed. So the first big issue we had was emissions. We're going to solve that by actually putting a cap on the car. And here we go. One brand new aftermarket catalytic converter. Hopefully this does the job. And thankfully for me, it even comes with a fitting kit with a couple of new gaskets, which is very ideal and very helpful. So we need to get this car jacked up, get the old bypass pipe out and get this cat on so that we can actually pass the emissions. Let's do it. Now I did actually learn something from watching Eliminate last night, where they was working on his girlfriend's MX5, and basically when the car's too low to get the jack underneath, there's actually some towing bits at the back of the bumper here which you can actually jack up off. However, they had a Mark II and this is a Mark 1. Oh, there it is, look. That's handy. Is there one on the other side? There is. That is really handy. Now I ain't got to put it up on blocks to get up in the air because I need to get all the way down there to that. Now another thing that we need to do is replace this brake caliper because this one has seized. We've got a brand new one. Let's fit it. Doesn't help that the ground is very unlevel. Yeah, it really didn't take me long to realise that this was not going to work. My jack's it just doesn't go high enough for this. So it's a bit of a waste of time. Good idea, but not right for me. So I resorted back to the classic old chassis rail to jack up off that. Job done. Right, so I've got it jacked up, got some jack stands in some places which will save me if it decides to come down. But I really only need to get to here, to get to this, to replace it. So hopefully I have enough space and I can just climb under here and get it from here. But this has got to come out and this has got to go in. But you may or may not know that a cat can actually change the tone of the exhaust and the loudness and everything like that. So I think now's a good time to actually start it up, see how it sounds, and then see how different it is once we have the cat on. Yeah, boy. Right. There we have it. The bypass pipe is out. Now here's a little difference, right? This is the bypass pipe, and as you can see, it just goes straight through. Straight through. There's nothing in there. It's just a pipe with a bit welded round it. Nothing amazing. Ooh, gasket. This one, however, you cannot see in. Only a little bit, but there you go. You can see the inside of what a cat looks like. That should basically catch all the emissions and reduce the emissions, and then this should pass, hopefully. So let's get this in. Not forgetting the new kit. New gaskets, new bolts. Is there enough bolts? Yeah. Cool. And this one has a temperature sensor as well, which I don't know if we actually have in here, but I might get under there and have a quick look and see if there is anything that resembles a temperature sensor. Hello? Any temperature sensors in here? Anyone? So, let's get this one in. So now we do have to take the handbrake off inside the car, so this will actually loosen off a little bit because this feels quite tight. So I'm going to do that. And hopefully it doesn't go anywhere. It's probably the most backwards way to do this. That was way too loose. Way too loose. One bolt out. So, that's going to be a pain in the arse. The one thing I didn't want to do is going to have to happen. I'm going to have to take off the exhaust and then match it up later. There we go, that's in. That one's in. Right, I've gotten a little further. This is now cracked loose. So this should, in theory, just wiggle off. Ta-da! Oh yeah, that looks pretty bad. So in he goes, all the way. There we go. That feels better. Ow! Well, after a big struggle, managed to get that back on. So, yeah, now I've just got to transfer over the actual brake line pipe thing, whatever you want to call it, and that just goes into here, and then I'll have to use this right here to bleed it afterwards, and then we should be good. Right, so now that that is on, attached, I guess now we can start it up, see how it sounds, and also check for any leaks while we're at it. So, and I think it's actually corrected the exhaust a little bit, because this used to hang down quite a bit and now it doesn't hang as much. So I might have actually fixed something for once. On. Torquey. I've had enough of cars now. This is where I'm at. The caliper is on, everything is hooked up. I've been trying to adjust the handbrake, but nothing seems to be working. The last thing I think I'm going to try is bleed the brakes and then adjust the handbrake. I'm not sure if that makes a difference. I would have thought that because it's its own mechanism that it would have been different, but maybe I am wrong and just a dumbass, so we'll see. I'm going to bleed them now and find out. So luckily for me, the aftermarket Cat did the job. It actually passed, and it only actually came up something like 0.04 emissions or something, which is actually incredibly good. And well, it passed perfectly. You know, not a single problem, despite the fact that this thing is incredibly loud. It has passed, and the exhaust emissions are perfectly fine. As for this handbrake, which you can just see in there, well, that's actually the brake caliper. That's obviously a new caliper, which I technically maybe, well, yeah, I suppose I did really need it, because what had happened was the ratcheting mechanism in the handbrake, which you can just see the handbrake cable there, The ratcheting mechanism in the back of the caliper broke, which means the caliper was no good and was seized. And on top of that, the actual cable was so stretched beyond any working condition. So, as you can just see there, literally just there, that is a new cable with a new caliper. Now this back wheel is perfectly fine and everything else passed. Even on my little stupid botched job rust repairs on the front and the back, both of those were all good. Now yes, okay, the rust is still pretty bad on this car. This still needs a lot of work, but obviously it is not bad enough for it to not be road legal. So if you ask me, this was a success. Yes, okay, it took a week to get it back on the road, but we're back on the road and it's all good. However, as I say, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done on this car. For argument's sake, the front bumper, the paint is starting to peel off. These arches need painting. These wheels need replacing. The rust needs properly fixing rather than my botch jobs. There's a couple of dents which you might be able to actually just see there. That needs sorting out. And this back arch, the rust needs sorting out because again, it is pretty nasty. Again, the wheels, because I hate those wheels. There's a lot of stuff. We have recently just bought a new hard top because this one is a genuine one, whereas the old one was aftermarket and it wasn't very good. The seals weren't sealing properly, the latches weren't very good, but this one is genuine. It's a genuine Mazda one, and it's even, I don't know if you can see it, find it, there it is. So when you're buying a hardtop, that there, the Nippon safety, that means that is OEM glass, original glass. So yeah, it's an OEM hardtop made by Mazda with the OEM glass, and it is just so much better than the aftermarket option, which we had, but there we go. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.